Chapter 34. The Confession of the Chief. With this, the high Pharisee goes over to Cyrenius and says, "Here before you now stands a powerless person. This man imagined for a time that he, as a person of this earth, could make use of every right that people of this earth use. But he miscalculated, as a mathematician himself, and came to the conviction that the high ones do not want to have any other high people among them. Therefore, from now on, I will be the very lowest. Perhaps I will be more pleasant to the high people thereby." Cyrenius says, "You will do well to do that. But just tell me now one thing. For what reason you showed yourself to be different before me than how you are? I offered you my hand like a friend, and you rejected it. What did you actually want to achieve through that?" The high Pharisee says, "Think about the high status of a person. Besides this, there is always a secret letter of arrogance which is called honor and power to the authorities. With this one very easily begins to sin. But once he has begun to sin, one becomes blind and deaf and sins more and more. Unfortunately, one then finally comes so high, to the point where it is said, 'Only up to here, and then not a step further.' I have now arrived at this point, and will be very glad to find myself as soon as possible very deep at the bottom. I am already 78, and have little more to expect. From now on, if you will grant me the rest of my lifetime, I will occupy myself only with the purely divine." Cyrenius says, "Go then. Over there, near to Mark's house, you will find bread and wine. Strengthen yourself with it, and then we will settle the affair before those announced arrive." The high Pharisee now makes a cheerful face, thanks Cyrenius, and goes quickly to the laid table. The old man was already very hungry and thirsty, and this was extremely desired. But while the old fellow strengthens himself, I go to Cyrenius and say to him, "That is correct. You have led things very well. The testimony that you gave the Nazarene was also quite in the best order. But to fully disclose me to these people would still be too early. Once things have been carried out in order, as has happened so far, it will even be possible to win over these people entirely for us. But hastiness could ruin the whole thing. I will now place Raphael at your disposal. He will do whatever you say to him. But be careful with a miracle. Do not do anything about the rebuilding of the city which is still glowing here and there. Although the angel would certainly be in a position to rebuild the whole city in an instant. For I want this place to remain in a humbled position for a while, and finally Mark and his children shall be the ones through whom the place will be improved. But he can do everything else, but nevertheless always with a certain safe caution." Cyrenius asks, "Lord, what will you do in the meantime?" I say, I will remain near you and act like a stranger, as until now. But if towards midday you see a ship coming, go down to the shore and receive the arrivals in my name. But tell them that they should also not make me known for these people's sakes before time, so that the thing with the Pharisees will not be spoiled. But have the singer and messenger Hermes come to my disciples. They will give him the appropriate instruction for our affairs. But I will discuss with Uran the future state of his country, and likewise with Mathael and with his wife. Now you know what you have to do. Cyrenius says, "Certainly, my Lord and my God. But how will I know that these some 50 arch-Jews are ready for you?" I say, "You will learn that at the right time, after the midday meal, which we will take today an hour later. Therefore, do not worry, and do everything else well and in accordance with my eternal, divine order." Cyrenius was highly satisfied with this order and full of joy that I was satisfied with his handling of the Pharisees. But I now immediately called Raphael and placed him at the disposal of Cyrenius's will. Raphael came past quickly and said, "I stand here to serve God, you and all people who have a good will, in the power and strength and in the name of the Lord. But be careful what you order, for I will carry everything out." Cyrenius says, "Friend from heaven, if I acted according to my understanding, nothing but one crazy thing after another would come out. I have only the Lord alone to thank that I succeeded with the extremely crafty Pharisees, for he gave me words and the correct sense in my heart. Therefore, what I deserve equals nothing. Thus I hope and believe that it will continue right to the goal. Under such auspices, friend, we can certainly dare together to carry out the work that has been begun with the Pharisees, according to the will of the Lord. What do you think, my friend from heaven?" Raphael says, "Ah, that is something quite different. With this reasoning, a sin in this situation is unthinkable. And so we will then begin the work again with the united divine strength that is in us." In the meantime, the high Pharisee Stahar had strengthened himself, came back to Cyrenius again, and thanked him from his heart for such a good deed done to them.